And there's the potential that if there's hesitation from Novak, you might pick up a couple of loose volleys.
Well, the Laver Cup always has the ability to spring surprises. We didn't think we'd see Novak and Roger so early in the Laver Cup 3 days, but they're here tonight and they have a very tough assignment. Team Europe to get this final match of day one underway.
The issue with breaking Roger, though, is he has one of the most accurate serves. He has that ability to hit lines and just inside lines, so you don't get a lot of clean hits on the return. It's about just getting it back into court. So when John McEnroe was talking to Robbie Koenig, he said, I'd be playing a lot of balls down the middle, and there was an example there of Novak Djokovic just sort of leaving some space and making Federer have to come up with the pickup.
Federer facing the man that beat him in the dramatic 5-set win at Wimbledon just back in the English summer. How long does it take to get used to playing with your partner when it's the first time?
It can take several tournaments to really gel well.
They've got 2 sets and a 10-point match tiebreak. Federer, who has won 98 singles titles, but 8 in doubles, and it's really been a long time since he's played on the tour. Even though then he only used to play a few tournaments a year just to tune up, and he hasn't actually taken to the doubles court since he was with Rafa 12 months ago in Prague. Good start for Team Europe. Federer's only played 10 events this year. This will be his 11th, and hasn't played any tournaments in doubles on the tour. Well, he spent a lot of time on the bike today, hasn't he, David Goffin? How well he played against Diego Schwartzman. Had his ups and downs, Todd, but he was seemed to be pretty buoyant in the post-match interview with you.
Well, one of his great skills is his temperament, and when he was going astray there with his forehand for a little while, didn't bother him at all. He just stayed on task, and from 2 match points down, that was that could be pivotal throughout this weekend, that match now.
Yeah, we could very easily look back, couldn't we, to that matchup. Very long 3 days, 4 matches tomorrow, 3 singles and a doubles. And, well, what we'll get on Sunday, we'll certainly get 2 matches. Talked a lot about, Todd, how Team World will take on Team Europe, but flip that around. What will Federer and Djokovic look to do out here?
Well, first return there that Federer got was very smart, was a backhand chip. Kevin Anderson isn't the greatest serve volleyer. He's a very good volleyer, but serve volleying is difficult for him because it's hard for him to get in time to get a solid volley. So we already saw him on the first, second serve stand back. I think that if he misses a lot of first serves, will become a problem for him. Thing is, he doesn't miss a lot of first serves. It's a big weapon, obviously, with his height.
Ironically, the last time that Kevin Anderson was on a doubles court, he was with Novak Djokovic in Toronto. They actually made it through to the quarterfinals. Got very much the sense, I chatted to him earlier, that he was really looking forward to this and enjoying his Laver Cup debut.
return from Roger Federer, and I'm a big advocate that early on in a match that you take the return straight down the line, particularly when you're playing somebody like Jack Sock, who you know is going to be influential around the net. He's going to be searching for the ball. If you go up the line early, he's already in his mind that he needs to stay home and be careful.
Game.
You heard it from Jack Sock. Good serve, Kevin, and doing what you say is most important, just holding that game. First time we've seen Djokovic since he won at the US Open just over a week or so ago. Great start for Team Europe with a win for Dimitrov over TFO, then Edmund taking out Sock, and then Goffin defeating Diego Schwartzman. That was with the exciting match, such an exciting match of the day. Just edging out a couple of match tiebreakers. We had a lot of those last year as well in Prague.
Oh yes, there's the one down the line, so that automatically Roger's going to be nervous about taking too many risks.
Love 15.
So here comes the issue for Novak is, does he serve volley, does he stay back? And it changes the rhythm on his serve because he's not used to serve volleying all that much. And that first serve on that previous point, the ball toss a long way forward, so it drags it down into the net. So big chance here. Communication, Novak telling Roger where he wants to serve in the I formation. A little wry smile from Novak there. That was a pretty well struck return. Really quick hands. Look, just racket out in front. Wonderful racket work to control that little angle. No big swings from Roger.
We've seen Djokovic on tour a little on the doubles court this year. Played in Miami with fellow Sir Victor Troicki. Played at Queens with Stanislav Wawrinka, and then, as I mentioned, had a nice little run with Anderson in Toronto just back, what, a month or so ago.
image that goes around the world.
He's in trouble, and he's got to work a little harder for this service game as well. Back to Deuce. What's been actually lovely throughout this first day, we've seen them sitting side by side on the players' bench, haven't we? Just chatting away. But they've never actually spent this much time together before. Well, certainly not off court, anyway.
Oh, that was more than a touch. That was a big body blow.
Was this such a good idea after all?
So this is the forehand, hit at 105 miles per hour, bang on the chest of Novak Djokovic. You're not going to win a lot of those rallies forehand to forehand if you're Kevin Anderson to Novak Djokovic. So wherever you can, as quick as you can, you should be getting to net as the duo. You could see Jack Sock, he got in as quick as he could, but Kevin just hanging back for too long.
Well, an eventful game for Team Europe, with Djokovic and Federer coming through, and we're on serve at early stages of this opening set. Roger and Novak having an awful lot to discuss at the change of ends, very much comparing bruises, and Novak mentioning just he thought his heart might stop for a second or two there. I think he's had rather a fright, the net. So the last man in the rotation to serve, America's Jack Sock. Currently ranked at 2 in the world behind the right-handed Brian Mike. They've just come off the US Open, but 3 titles, 3 Grand Slams to his name. He is the Grand Slam doubles champion at Wimbledon as well with Mike Bryan. And don't forget, 4 years ago he won with Václav Pospisil. I can never say this name. Come on, Todd, help me out here.
Václav Pospisil.
Thank you. Too many P's and S's in there. But he's always been a wonderful doubles player. Even when he first came onto the tour, I mean, he's got 13 titles. He's always played both tours. And I'd like to hear from you in just a moment what makes him so good out there. So why is he so good, Todd?
Well, he goes after the ball. He's not afraid to go forward. And the one thing in doubles, we've already seen Novak get hit, and Kevin Anderson holding his ground well here, but he's starting to back away. If you back away in doubles, it's a sure thing that you'll end up being tagged, as we call it. He serves very well. He positions the ball nice. He doesn't necessarily go for aces. It's where he hits it in the box. So in doubles, the other thing that you need to do is to make your partner look good. If you're a good doubles player, you're setting up your partner the whole time. It's not about how you play. It's not a one-man shot sort of deal. Jack is always setting up his partner nicely.
Good.
And a very comfortable service game for Jack Sock, who also won Olympic gold in the mixed doubles in 2016 back in Rio. And he has actually qualified for the tour finals in November in London with Mike Bryan. The only problem is that Mike has also qualified with Bob, who's been out injured. So Mike has got a very difficult decision to make. An almost impossible choice.
What an impressive performance to have done that with two partners.
15.
Really good way for Roger to just ease himself into this three-day Laver Cup event. He's been enormously busy this week. And we've been wondering throughout the day just how he does it. Where does he find the energy to do all the promotion? Everyone wants to speak to Roger. He's out there with the fans, the sponsors, the businessmen, and at some point he's got to find a chance. He's got to have a little chance to practice as well. Looking really comfortable here. Love hold for Federer, and we remain on serve early stages of the second set. Full house tonight at the United Centre, and we are about a 15-minute drive west of downtown in this sporting city. The Wrigley's Field, which is the home of the Chicago Cubs, the baseball team, to the north, and the home of the White Sox to the south.
An example there where I mentioned in the last service game of Kevin Anderson, where he struggles to serve and volley. In singles, he likes to serve, get the shorter ball, and then approach to get to net. And you can see here he doesn't make it to the service line, and it's a ripping return, mind you.
That service coming down from 6'8", 2 meters 3. He's a man over the last 18 months been working pretty seriously with a sports psychologist, and what a difference it's made to him. Finalist at the US Open last year, at Wimbledon in 2018. Just looking at this court, Jack Sock at 25 years of age. He's the baby on the court, isn't he? Federer at 37, Djokovic early 30s, Anderson in the same bracket. And I saw a stat today which I was very surprised about. Average age of the men's top 10, 29 years and 6 months. Pretty similar to the men's top 10 on the PGA Tour and the Golf Tour. So Sasha Zverev at 21 and Kyle Edmund at 23 and young Francis Tiafoe, plenty of time.
You throw Nick Kyrgios into that?
Yep. How old's Nick?
23.
Okay. Just young pups, aren't they?
Game.
Taking care of the service game. Why doesn't Novak Djokovic serve and volley? He's a 4-time Wimbledon champion. Why hasn't he got the facility to do that?
Well, he just hasn't put that into his game, has he? The grass courts these days, when they've changed them to make them bounce that little bit higher, and
doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to. He's able to counterpunch from the baseline.
15.
He's obviously he's been serving very well throughout his career. He's had a patch where it did go off for a little while, but his service motion isn't a natural motion that draws you forward and into the court either. So it's not as fluid for him to naturally flow in.
Let's see if they can get through this service game without crash helmets being sent out there or body armour.
It's all got to do with the ball toss. If you are going to serve volley, you actually put the ball toss just a little bit more forward because it gets you leaning into the court. His ball toss is well back because he likes to put more shape on it. And if you pull it back, then you haven't got that forward trajectory that's taking you forward into it. You can see even right there, when he lands, he lands almost falling left and then has to take the next step forward into the court. So if you can get another look at it here, it's not a natural motion that he's taking you forward. Oh, beautifully timed intercept from Federer.
Talk us through this, because I'm sure we're going to get a replay. When exactly do you make your move?
Well, see, he's already on his way now. Look at the angle that he takes. He's further back in the box, and he cuts it off by coming forward, racket out in front. And it's just a natural instinct of following the ball.
Albrecht's move from Djokovic. Still on serve in this opening set. Team Europe leading 4-3. Early evening in Chicago. It's actually a pretty warm and windy day outside, but tucked up inside the United Center with, I would say, well in excess of 17,000 fans here. They squeeze a few more in for the NBA basketball when the balls take to this particular court. They also have a special surface that they just flip on the ice hockey rink. It's extraordinary how they do it. It really is. New balls.
15.
Done.
That's annoying that you were such a night owl, Sam.
Yeah,
coming in at all hours of the morning. 10 o'clock, I wouldn't have called quite early evening. But
I have to say, I've completely lost track of time.
It's been, that's how the day's been here. It's gone so quick.
40.
The service game going quickly too.
Same format tomorrow. 3 singles to get us underway and a doubles. And this double's vital for Team World. What is going to separate these two teams in this first set?
40.
Well, I think it's going to be some quick exchanges at the net. It'll be 1 point of reflex volleying that someone either gets an advantage from or someone gets tentative with. And so there's the winning of the point or the losing, and whoever actually wins it, that's going to separate that. It comes down to something as simple as a quick volley exchange.
50.
It's been so tight today, hasn't it? And saw John McEnroe straight after the last singles match. He's like, oh, we really could have done with that one. We needed that just to pull some of this momentum back. Surprised me. Federer's using a different racket, isn't he, for the Cup?
It's a special edition. The headquarters of Wilson, obviously, here in Chicago. He was there doing some sponsor activation, meeting the employees just a couple of days ago. and they created a frame and colour that would look bright on this particular black court, this unique court. And then after this tournament, he will go back to his regular frame, which is in fact black. Got to say, that's not as easy as you think. Didn't have a lot of space to go with on that volley, Federer, so the decision to drop volley was smart because he went to Kevin Anderson. The bigger man isn't the fastest of the two in Team World.
Very surprised Team World are not challenging that particular serve. Very solid again from Federer. And, well, we're still on serve. Vital doubles for Team World to try and stop the momentum of Team Europe, who have had such a good day so far.
He looks pretty happy with himself,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
That's about as animated we've seen him. Great win over Diego Schwartzman. Wonderful to see this United Centre crowd. They were on their feet for much of that match. Can Djokovic and Federer make it a perfect 4-0 start? That's what Borg was very much hoping for at as we opened up the day here. Not a single break point opportunity created as yet. Phenomenal numbers behind their first serve. Only 3 points have been lost behind both teams' first serves combined. It doesn't really get too much better than that.
Well, there's the commentator's curse. Comes out straight away. This was a brilliant return though, and again not being able to get in to make a first volley. Was behind the 8 ball as soon as he had the half volley, and you could see Federer instinctively, once that ball had hit the ground, he was coming forward because he knew he was going to get something high up in the air.
That'll do very nicely. Anderson taking care of his part of the bargain, and we are locked once more in this opening set, which has been going seems longer than that, just over half an hour. Now the United Centre, the third largest indoor arena in the United States. Extraordinary it is, and I was out there actually when it was the early evening. So many fans in the zone which have been to the right of your picture. A lot of security to go through as well to get in, but well worth it, and everyone absolutely fully invested in this doubles.
Oh yes, point of the match. And I said it would come down to some reflex volleys, and there were quite a few there. The end of this point beautifully read by Novak Djokovic. This was a clever shot. This one here from Jack Sock, just trying to keep it down low, but the movement and racket head control of Djokovic up to the task. So we talked about, who would lead the combination. It was interesting there, the communication from Federer. He's calling to Novak, out, leave it. That's what a seasoned doubles player would normally do.
Now you forget actually some of the titles that he has won. Actually, his first one came way back at the start of his career in 2001. Won it with your old partner Jonas Bjorkman. Won in Rotterdam. Also won that year in Gstaad with Marat Safin. That must have been a pretty entertaining week. He loves his doubles, does Federer. These two teams playing in a great spirit here, and we remain on serve in this opening set. Federer and Djokovic moving ahead once more. They didn't know what to expect the first time we were ever seeing Federer and Djokovic on the same side of the court. It has been very entertaining. They look like they're enjoying themselves, and it's been super competitive as well. Great to see Mirka, his wife here, former player herself. Chris Evert is actually here as well today, which is great. Pretty much every single service game has been won very comfortably, just apart from that third game and Novak Djokovic's opening service game, where he had a little bit of a battle and a few bruises.
Some good adaptation there from Jack Sock to keep himself in the point. He got himself out of position here. Look, he's deep in there, and just really good hands just to create that angle to keep it away from Federer. Well, that play won me a few titles, I've got to say, and it's not used a lot these days, the single-handed chip lob, and Federer just played it to perfection, took the net away from the opposition, got in, put pressure on. Jack Sock not able to come up. So we've seen two perfect returns from Federer. The chip off, no pace cross court, and then the chip lob over the net man, and that's got to be a good lob to get over Anderson, let me tell you.
He redeemed himself very well, but some confusion there, middle of that point. What on earth happened, Todd?
He wanted to get involved and hesitated slightly. That time, though, way to use your height and wingspan at the same time.
First time Sock has been under any pressure on his service game.
And when you get points like this, this is So entertaining. Great defense from Team Europe.
Doing so well in that game. Great day from 15:30 for Team World. And now anything can happen as we head into the first set breakout. They very quickly, haven't they, picked up from last year.
What a great camera angle. It's sort of self-defense. He gets the higher ball, gets out after it.
And as we suspected, even though Kevin Anderson doesn't play a lot of doubles on the tour, he knows his way around a doubles court from all those years in college.
That's a missed opportunity. You don't get many second serves against Roger.
Well, in singles, Federer wins more tie breaks and has won more tie breaks than any other player currently out there, over 400 in his career. It's been great watching Djokovic over the last couple of days. He's finally, you just sense he's getting into this. The competitive juices have suddenly kicked in.
Thank you, Kevin. Team Europe. Team Europe.
It's probably a little bit of a let-off for the world there. Federer got a second chance. Able to control it. Look at that. A shoulder bump from Federer to Djokovic. Big play from Jack Sock. There was a ball there, that forehand of Sock, that ended up winning the point. I would have loved to have seen the two of them go in together, because the longer they stay back, I think that's a troubling spot for Kevin Anderson in this match. He's got such a big wingspan. He's pressure at the net. Yes. You said it might come down to second serve, Sam. There was an indication of that there. It was a wonderfully struck deep return. And look at the movement from Sock.
How quickly things can change early, down a very early mini break in this second set tie break, and now have the slight advantage here. Oh, how much Team World needs something to go their way. And this is the man they're looking to, Jack Sock, but Kevin Anderson has been very good out here by his side. Oh, well done.
He's proud of himself too. Oh.
Wasn't quite as clean as we originally thought. Oh, he's lovely, isn't he? Some real young ones out there on the corner.
What an experience for them. You know, we haven't had a professional event here of this caliber anyway in 27 years, and many young tennis players who go on to great things are ball kids early in their career. I was one. Actually ball boyed for John McEnroe.
Did you?
Did.
How old were you then?
I was around about 9, I think. 9 or 10. Yep.
Ball 3. 2 more.
Of course, the most famous ball kid of all, Roger Federer. He's the ball kid at the Basel tournament that he has now gone on to win on so many occasions.
Well, that was a good volley. It wasn't an easy volley because it was so low to the net. He really had to take caution. He controlled the ball with great depth. Watch here how low.
Which is his better side on the volley?
I think his backhand actually is probably more sound. But over the years, he's become a very good volleyer.
Timon is charging the goal. Right serve side. Ball's called in.
In singles these days, he comes up with some pretty clutch stuff.
I'm pretty sure they've got this one, Federer, already flicking the ball down the other end of the court. The tightest of opening sets, a break point not created. They've had to go to the breakout.
Team will have 3 charges remaining.
That was the thing about the I formation. You don't see Novak miss many returns, but because Jack Sock was down in there, and then he comes up and decides which way he's going to go. It's already premeditated where he is going, but it's enough to take your eye off the ball, and that gets that miss, and that's the reason you'll see that played. This move played so much. They're going for it again here. It's a typical Federer, isn't it? That ability to just stab the racket at it and keep the ball in play.
There's nothing wrong with that special edition racket that he's using just for this event. It's only a paint job, Todd.
Yeah.
So very hard to split up these two scratch doubles teams. Djokovic a chance to give Team Europe a 1-set lead